So what about this Tusy heat press? Had some questions, how does it handle? How is it holding up? That's not designed for that kind of use, for what I do with it. We're going to talk about that coming up. I'm Roger. Welcome to the loft above the shop, where we do all kinds of things. 3D printing up here, different types of craft projects. This is where the heat press lives. Had a lot of questions on it, as I mentioned at the beginning. How is it holding up? What kind of experience you had with it? I got this last summer and I bought it. Wasn't given to me. So how has this held up? It's held up fine. I've had absolutely no problems with it. The only thing I don't like about it is this is kind of hokey here, this little plastic thing. And I actually don't use the knob up here. I actually hold this when I'm raising it up. Going down, using this little handle isn't bad, but going up, I would rather grab the whole thing and turn it. And I've got this on and set right now. I'm about to do a project, and I'll do a little bit of a demonstration here on how well it works. I've had people say, well, that's not designed for production. Well, no, it's not really, and it's probably not really intended for that. But I have run this continuously for 8 to 10 hours at a time and had no problems with it whatsoever. I haven't done any modifications to it other than adding a Teflon sheet in here that I hold on with some little magnets that I could swap out in a hurry if I need to. And that's just to protect the top plating and to keep anything from happening to stick to it. I only use parchment paper, and nothing sticks to parchment paper, so that's one plus. Yes, it could use butcher paper, but I prefer the parchment paper because there again, nothing sticks to it. So how accurate is it? I have not found any cold spots or hot spots on the plate in any of the projects we've done. We do a tremendous amount of sublimation on this. So that's basically what it's used for, mostly to glass, which has a long time run on it. It's not like, well, we have also done coasters and mouse pads, and I've done some shirts and that type of thing, but you're only pressing for, 45, 60, maybe 90 seconds. On glass or ceramic tile, the press is much longer. On a ceramic tile, if I'm doing a large one, maybe as much as 6 minutes, at 385 degrees. So yes, it's held up just fine. Little hint on it when you first turn it on, and it's warming up right now for a project. Before you run that first project, close it and run it for that set amount of time with nothing in it. Get that bottom heated up as well, or your first project is not going to come out the same as your second project that you're going to do right afterwards because the bed is cold. Just a little suggestion there, especially when you're doing dye sublimation on glass. It really makes a difference if that bottom is preheated or not. Okay, so how does it compare to the Cricut Easy Press? Yeah, I've got one sitting right here, and I did a video here a couple weeks ago on doing sublimation with the Easy Press. Yes, it does work, but it kind of depends on the project, how big it is, and how long you want to stand there putting a whole lot of pressure on it. If you're doing shirts or coasters or mouse pads or koozies, yes, this works just fine. This is obviously faster and easier, but yes, Cricut Press does work. If you're doing a large canvas, and if you watch that video, you'll see that I had multiple failures trying to do a large piece of canvas because I think this here is not completely flat. Even though it looks like it is, I think that it's a little bit concave because either that or it's cool in the center. I haven't checked it with a flare gun or anything because I was having a problem getting good dye transfer in the center. When I was doing smaller things like 5x7 or there again, coasters and mouse pads and koozies, and that, yeah, it works just great. It works great for shirts. If you're doing HTV, yeah, it works just fine. This works fine too for HTV. You definitely want to change the settings so to have it match. So overall, yes, I'm happy with this. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. The attachments that came with it, I've only really used one, and that is the mug press, which is sitting over in the corner over here. I don't have it hooked up right now. We don't do hats, so I've never used a hat press. It does come with two plate presses, but I have not had a reason to do any plates, so haven't used that. I did do a demonstration video though on how to swap all these parts around, and I did make sure they all worked. I just have not put the plate press or the hat press in any type of production. The mug press works fine. It's not designed for the larger mugs, although I have done a couple in it. I think I'm going to look to getting a different type of mug press if I start doing a lot of mug sublimation, and I can still use this same controller with it. I just need a press for some different shape things, especially the tapered mugs. If I decide to do those, I know my granddaughter would like to do those, and those in tumblers, and there's no sense in both of us having the same thing, so she can just use mine. But that'll be the subject of a future video. So there's my 6-month review of how this is held up in a production environment. I know it's not designed for that. There are much more expensive machines that are intended for heavy production like what we have been doing with it. But as I said, it has held up just fine. It functions just fine. I haven't had no problems with it. Other than the funky little handle up here, I'm quite happy with it. Would I recommend it? Yes. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the channel. Otherwise, I'm Roger in the loft above the shop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.